Fortunes of war can change their way. We imagine our lives will be. The March family are on their way. Make Joe, Beth, and Amy.
Gotcha! You better get back in your cage. Now, Polly. Come on now. Oop, I'm not going to try to catch you. Just hold still now. And... Oh! Polly! You hateful bird! Oh!
Polly, it's lunchtime. Time to get back in your cage. Polly, get back here!
Beth! Beth! That bird is driving me crazy! She should be tied up in her cage.
You can't blame her for wanting to fly around after being cooped up all day.
Stupid! Stupid! Don't bother me! Don't bother me! Don't bother me! Stupid people! Stupid!
Gotcha.
Oh, good, you finally
Golly,
caught her.
She never shuts up.
Stupid people! Stupid
Now
people!
settle down. Amy, I think you'd better take Polly up to Auntie's room, okay? I believe that March is still napping, Joe.
Oh, hello, Marmee. Where are you going?
I'm going into town. Aunt March is taking a nap upstairs, so you be sure to tell her I stepped out when she awakens.
All right. You going to the real estate office?
Yes, Amy, I'll be going there, too.
I sure hope we're in our own house before much longer.
So do I.
Mother, do you think it would be all right for me to use the library for a while this afternoon? Aunt March was taking a nap, so I couldn't ask her, but do you think she would mind, Marmee?
Well, better wait and ask her.
Are you going out, ma'am?
Mm-hmm. But I'll only be gone for a little while, Hannah. How are you getting along in the kitchen?
Fine, just fine. Me and Dorothy are getting along real good in the kitchen, ma'am. Meg here's been a real big help to me, naturally, and Dorothea's been showing me where everything is.
Please, Mother. We must find a place of our own in which to live.
Yes, we will, dear. Now I want all of you girls to behave while I'm gone.
Yes,
yes,
Mum.
Oh, Amy, what with everything that's gone on these last few days, you haven't done very much studying. So I think it's time for you to get back to your books, young lady. And Meg, I would like you to tutor her.
All right.
But it's summer vacation now.
But, Amy, don't you remember? Your weakest subject is mathematics, and you promised Mother to study all summer long to improve your grades.
Oh, I forgot I said I'd do that. It was easy to forget with everything that's going on.
As long as you study a little bit every day, that's all we ask, darling. All right?
I will.
Come in.
Aunt March, here we are.
Hello there, Harry. Well, Josephine, how nice of you to look after Polly.
Not really. Meg and the girls did, actually. They're all downstairs studying now, Auntie.
Is that so? If memory serves, your sister Beth doesn't even go to school.
Yes, she rarely went to school. As a matter of fact, she was home most of the time because of illnesses, so Papa taught her. Of course, the fact that Beth was shy and didn't get along with the teacher at school contributed to the problem.
Eh? Your father is not a teacher. At least as far as I know.
On the contrary, Father is among the very best teachers. He was even able to give me some very helpful instructions on my writing.
Really? I doubt that. Unless, of course, he's changed considerably since he was young, which is unlikely. As a young man, he showed some promise, but almost immediately after entering college to study law, he withdrew.
But he told me the reason he quit college was because he just didn't think he was cut out to be a lawyer.
I wanted him to be a lawyer or a judge and then run for public office.
He's become a very good civil engineer.
Nonetheless, he quit school and betrayed my trust.
Just because you pay someone's way through school doesn't mean you can expect them to study something they hate.
I expect a lot more than that from a member of this family.
Oh.
I believe we'd better change the subject now. Let bygones be bygones and bury the past, I say.
You forgive him, don't you? And I can see you're still fond of him in spite of what he may have done.
It's possible. He was my favorite.
Aunt?
What?
I wonder, do you think I could use the downstairs library for my work?
The library? What do you want to use it for?
I'd read, of course, and it would also be a great place to concentrate while I'm writing my book.
Book? Well,
I wouldn't hurt anything, honest, I wouldn't.
you're just like your father. I remember he always loved using it whenever he had the chance.
Then does that mean I have your permission? Oh, please?
I suppose it couldn't do any harm, but what makes you think you could write a novel?
Why, because I've already written one. I think I'm going to be a great writer No, I already am a great writer, I'm sure of it.
Well, so you think you can make money writing books? Is that what you're saying to me?
You bet.
Stupid girl! Stupid girl! Ah, stupid girl!
Oh, be quiet, you foolish bird.
Please, may I have your permission to use the library? Please, Aunt March.
If you ask me, it should have been done.
It can't be helped, ma'am. Unless it's a very old and run-down house, I don't believe you'll be able to find one that large for such a small amount of money, not in this market anyway.
Thank you. I understand all that. But I would appreciate your best efforts and assistance in finding a house like I've outlined in any event.
But that's practically impossible.
You'll at least try, though, won't you?
Couldn't you afford to pay a little more money?
I left Amy to study her lessons. Joe, what's the matter? Something happened? Why are you crying, Joe? What's made you so sad?
My stories move me to tears. I didn't realize it's a truly great tragedy.
Yes, you must think it's good to react like this, Joe. But will other people think so?
Yes, I'm sure this will sell, Meg.
What?
Oh, well, never mind. Just forget about it. What can I do for you?
Well, I was wondering what kind of job is suitable for me.
When did you decide to look for a job?
I hadn't really decided yet. But I thought I might try to help the family financially by finding work.
Good idea.
We need to move into a big house. That's going to cost money.
I think you'd be wonderful with kids. You know, like a governess or a nanny or something like that, perhaps.
That's a wonderful idea. There's nothing I'd rather do.
Or maybe, a sales clerk in a nice shop of some kind.
I could do that, too. I'd find that kind of job quite enjoyable.
You'd be good doing either of those things, Meg.
Yes, I agree.
Then that settles that.
What do I do now?
It's easy. We put an advertisement in the paper and wait for a response.
An advertisement? I couldn't.
Meg, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Tell you what, let's go and take a look in today's newspaper and see if it gives us any ideas. What's it called? Oh yeah, the Newcourt Times. That's the local newspaper.
I didn't know you read the newspaper, Margaret. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
The Times is a particularly good newspaper. I read it myself.
I appreciate it.
How stupid people are!
Oh,
Stupid people!
Oh, do hush, Polly. You can be so rude sometimes.
Look, Meg, here it is. Bright 26-year-old woman. Good references seeking position, nurse or governess. Make contact through newspaper office, see?
Joe, that's the job for me. All I have to do is change the age to 16.
You could also say how wonderful you are with children and how beautiful, brilliant, and witty you are.
You aren't serious.
Oh, I've forgotten. How much money do you have?
Why do you want to know?
I have no idea what it costs to place an advertisement in the classifieds.
I certainly don't have very much.
I guess I'll just have to go down and ask them.
Joe, you don't have to do that.
There's something else I want to see them about anyway. Marmee, hello.
What are you doing here, Joe?
What's this?
This is the Soldiers' Aid Society building.
The Soldiers' Aid Society, don't they help military personnel and their families?
That's right. As a matter of fact, the single most important work they do is helping the families of soldiers.
And will they help us?
I didn't come here for assistance. I came down here to see if there was something I could do for them. A lot of men have gone off to war from this town, and their families can use our help. All of us. Joe, you must know there are families that are much worse off than we are. God only knows when this war is going to be over, but until then, I volunteered to lend a hand. I told them I would perform any service I can in my own small way to help wounded soldiers. They have so much to do, Joe. They can use every bit of help we can give them, and then some on top of that. Helping soldiers who have sacrificed so much for us is a truly noble way of spending one's time.
I never even thought of that, and I should have.
Well, if you'd like me to, I could sign you up as a volunteer too, Joe.
I'd like that.
You still haven't told me what you're doing in town.
Well... excuse me.
Go ahead and print it. Yes, may I be of some help? Well, what's on your mind?
I can come back later if I'm interrupting anything.
I wish that were true, but we're not very busy right now.
Huh?
I mean, the stories for today have all been written. I'm done editing, proofreading, and so forth, and I'd be more than happy to help. Now I'm all ears.
Well, I really appreciate your helping me.
You're welcome.
Well,
Now, just what is it you want from me?
Oh, it's here someplace. I was wondering how much it would cost to run this ad for a few days in your paper.
Ah, yes. How'd you like to put it right here?
That would be fine.
It's 50 cents to run it the first time. After that, the rates are a little bit cheaper.
I'm sorry, but are you sure you haven't made some kind of mistake?
No, ma'am. Let me explain. You see, if you only place an advertisement for the one time, it won't be seen by enough folks. That's why 3 days is what I recommend.
Yes, but what if my sister gets a job offer after the second day of the ad's appearance?
Well, that being the case, on the third day, we simply won't run it.
Does that mean you would refund some of the money?
I'm afraid company policy forbids me to give any refunds.
I think that's a rotten policy.
That's a feeling many people share. That's why we only charge $1 for the 3-day advertisement. In my humble opinion, that's certainly quite equitable.
Hey, Chief. Come here a second, will you? I can't make heads or tails out of this.
What now? It's obvious I'm going to have to get you a new pair of glasses. Sorry, I'll just be a minute. Now, what is it you don't understand? Let me see that.
The thing is...
No,
Well,
this
I guess
gets
it's now or
completed on
never.
Page 3, you'll have to move it. Set it up. We've got a deadline. So what'll it be, miss? The 1-day or 3-day rate?
I won't be able to say, I'm afraid. You see, it's my sister who's interested in finding the job.
Then why didn't she come down to see me herself?
Because I have a very important matter to speak to you about.
Well, time's a-wasting. Please, step right into my office. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Well, young lady, do you have a name?
My name is Josephine March, but most people prefer to call me Jo.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Henry Murdoch, the chief editor and head writer. I'm also the head accountant. I handle billing and sometimes even sweep up.
You wouldn't also happen to be the owner of this paper, would you?
Yep, matter of fact, I am.
You see, Mr. Murdoch, we recently moved here from Pennsylvania. Today was the first time I've had a chance to read your paper, and I must say I enjoyed it. We're staying at our aunt's house, and she's been a subscriber for a long time. That's why I decided to come down and talk to you.
Well, I'm glad she prefers us to the competition. If I do say so myself, we do a much better job covering the news.
Are you saying this town actually publishes 2 newspapers?
Yes, indeed, and the other one's much bigger.
Let me ask you something. Does the other paper print chapters of a novel on a daily basis?
Print a novel? Yes, I believe they print portions of a novel from time to time.
I bet subscribers would like to read novels, maybe even more than they would news. In fact, I'm sure they would.
I've been thinking about that. Anthony's been after me to print a novel in the paper for months.
Have you actually been looking for one?
Yes.
Then today is your lucky day. I brought this for you. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Huh?
I've written a novel, and if you want, I'd be very happy to give you permission to print it in your newspaper, sir.
You mean you wrote this manuscript by yourself?
Of course, and I'd like my name on it and a small fee, too.
You're going to charge me to print this book?
Yes, how am I to make a living? After I've written a few, I'll expect a raise, but we'll talk about it.
Wait a minute, you're moving pretty fast. We're going to have to read your book and find out if it's any good before we talk about printing it in the paper.
I'm quite sure you'll enjoy reading it, and I want you to know you're the first person I've ever let see it in my entire life.
Oh, no, my dear, I won't be the one who reads it. I'll be giving it to Mr. Boone. That's Anthony, the writer I was telling you about earlier.
Mr. Murdoch, anyone who appreciates good books will like mine.
Oh, here comes Anthony now.
Whoa!
No news around the harbor, I presume?
Nothing really newsworthy.
What would you like? A Confederate battleship or something firing on the town from off the coastline?
That would wake 'em up. I'm afraid my column's going to be nothing but a blank page this week.
Probably nobody will notice. Oh, by the way, I want you to meet Miss March. I want you to take some time and read the novel she brought us.
What?
You heard me. She wants me to print her novel to serialize it in the paper. What you've been asking for.
What I said was, if we can find a good one, we should run it. How old you say you were?
I'm 15 years old.
Pardon me, but I don't think a 15-year-old can write a novel.
Why not, may I ask?
At 15, you don't have enough experience to make it interesting, you know?
But I certainly have some imagination.
That's practically impossible. Your imagination would be limited by your lack of experience.
Does that mean you won't even read my novel just because of my age?
That's right. You catch on pretty quick for someone so wet behind the ears. I'll bet your mom and papa told you that was a real professional piece of work.
How then might you describe my novel?
Pure trash in all probability.
If imagination is supposed to flower with age, then yours is wilted. I've never met such a pompous, pig-headed fool!
Oh my, what language?
Well, she seems like a real nice girl. Got a good head on her shoulders. Know what I think? I think you're a little harsh on her. Consider it. What if her novel turns out to be really good? Have you given that any thought?
Come on, I'd be willing to bet you this is just garbage.
I told her one of us was going to read it. If you're not, then I guess I will.
Joe? Whoa there. Want to ride?
No!
I guess you're in a bad mood. Is that it?
How observant! I've never been in a worse mood in my life.
You want to tell me about it?
It's not your business. Leave me alone.
Oh, you really are mad, aren't you? Please let me give you a lift. That is, if you're headed straight home. That aunt of ours is a very lonely old spinster. I used to visit her often, but not so much here lately. She would scream and yell at me for no reason at all, but I still would go by to see her practically every day. I'm a nice man who can be quite charming, given the chance. But Aunt March certainly has changed a lot since you and your family arrived. I was wondering, is your mother really serious about finding a house to move into?
Huh? If you don't mind, explain that.
Seems to me there's no need for you to move. What with things so cozy at Aunt March's, freeloading's a smart way to go.
Let me off this carriage!
Well, it's nothing to be ashamed of, Joe. I think it's pretty smart.
You're the most despicable. I want you to know my family can't wait to move into our own home someplace. Stop this carriage and let me off!
Yes, ma'am. Whoa!
Good day.
Yeah!
Imbecile!
Hi, Joe. How'd it go?
Get out of my way.
Gosh, I'd never seen Joe so angry. I wondered what in the world could have happened to upset her so. I decided not to ask her just then, but to wait until she'd calmed down a bit.
Fortunes of war can